Hey there, welcome in. So today we are off on a really new adventure, something I've never done before and something I thought I would share in case anyone else would like to see it. So today we are going to get on that, well, the ferry's not here yet, but there's going to be a ferry boat arriving in a few minutes. And we're going to get on that ferry and we're going to go across the water. I'm in Boston right now, at the Boston Long Wharf, Marriott Long Wharf, right on the waterfront. And we're going to get in a ferry, and that boat is going to take us to Salem. I've always wanted to see Salem with all the witch history. So yeah, instead of having to drive through it and fight this, oh my gosh, this horrendous Boston traffic. Let me tell you, I had heard about the Boston traffic, but until you experience the Boston traffic, you have no idea. Oh my goodness, I feel for the people of Boston who have to drive in that every day. So anyway, just waiting for the ferry to arrive, and as soon as it does, we're going to get on it, and we're going to be on our way to witchy Salem. And I invite you to come along. So it looks as though our ferry has arrived, and we should be boarding in just a few minutes. So there it is. The Salem Ferry takes you from Boston to Salem. Here we go. Boarding the ferry. You get a nice little view of some of the north side of Boston from the ferry. That is the Marriott Long Wharf. And I don't exactly know what that building is back there, but I think it's pretty. I think it's really pretty.
Yes, that's what I.
A whole bunch of boats over here. Well, I made it to Salem. Here's a little bit of a windblown mess from the boat ride, but now it's time to just start walking around and just seeing what's here and checking it out. So I'm headed to the Witch Museum. We'll see what that has in store. Let's go. So if you ever come here, it was a nice little surprise. As soon as you got off the ferry, there was a little trolley bus that took you downtown right by the visitor center, and it was free. So I thought I was going to have to hoof all that, but I don't. So I've landed in front of this beautiful church here. Visitor center is right in front of me. Just gonna keep walking down here. It just looks like it's a block or two to the Witch Museum. This is looking pretty. This is the visitor center where the free trolley drops you off. And if you look just down there where that statue is, that's where the Witch Museum is. And that's where we're headed.
And it's 30 minutes.
So I'm standing in front of the Salem Witch Museum. It's a pretty impressive looking building. The next tour that goes in isn't for a half hour, so I may come back, but wanted to give you a look at it. Salem Witch Museum, 1692. It's so big it doesn't fit in the frame. Just stepped over to the side a little bit, maybe get a bigger, a wider image here. Try to get more of it in. It is pretty cool looking. It is right next to this inn called the Stepping Stone Inn, and there's an interesting sign on here that this home was built. At least I think that's what it means. Naval Officer Custom House in 1846. So it's pretty cool looking. I have a feeling Salem's going to be full of old houses like this. Very cool. Just in front of the Witch Museum is the statue of Roger Conant, who founded the town of Salem in 1626. However, he was not a witch. It's just a statue of their founder, that's all. So right across the street from the Witches Museum and that statue of Roger Conant is the Salem Commons, which is just a big, huge, open green space park. And one of the gentlemen here was just telling me it is the second oldest commons in the United States, with the Boston Commons being the oldest. So it looks to be a nice park for people to come and hang out. But he also mentioned that the first meeting of the National Guards was held here, and they do some very loud celebrations every year to commemorate that. While I give you a look at the Salem Common, let me give you a little bit of its history. The 8-acre common was established in 1667 by early settlers who drew upon their English traditions of setting aside land for common area. Originally, it was a swampy piece of land dotted by 5 ponds, used as a grazing area for their animals in the 1600s and 1700s. There was no fence, so the animals could freely roam. It also became the site of a school and almshouse, which opened to the public in 1772. The first muster of the East Regiment of the Massachusetts Militia took place here in 1637, an event that is recognized today as the birth of the United States National Guard. In 1714, the Common was designated a training field for military drills by the Salem Militia. In 1802, Elias Haskett Derby Jr. was appointed the colonel of the Salem Militia, and in 1802, a subscription was put forth to beautify the park. Derby raised $2,500 to improve the Common and oversaw efforts to level out that swampy terrain, install that wooden fence, and plant trees. The improved public space was called Washington Square, and at its west gate stood an archway decorated with a carving of George Washington. In 1817, the poplar trees were replaced with elm trees, and the deteriorated wood fence was replaced with a new fence made of oak. In 1850, the wooden fence and gates were replaced by a cast iron fence, which has since undergone several restoration efforts. In 1926, that Salem Common bandstand ahead of you with that colonial revival style, that was built as a part of the Salem Tercentenary celebrations. In 1928, the Salem Park Department took over management of the park. A playground was constructed in 1970, and the Salem Common was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1976. This next building is the Andrew Safford House, and it was built in 1819. It was designed in the Federal style by an unknown architect for a wealthy Russian fur merchant. Located at 13 Washington Square, it is now owned by the Peabody Essex Museum. When under construction, it was reputed to have been the most expensive house erected in the United States at the time. Over here is the Haworth Hotel, which one of the tour people mentioned is a really nice hotel to stay in. Looks like it was built in 1925. A nice place for lunch as well. So if you ever want to stay in Salem, you might want to check that one out. So Salem is turning out to be a lot bigger than I anticipated, but there's 2 main streets where most of the restaurants and shops and a lot of the buildings, historical buildings are, and that's going to be Essex Street right here and Derby Street. So you can already see it looks to be quite a lot of quaint looking buildings that might be fun to check out. This pub right here has that look and feel of an old English pub, old Main Street pub. I think there's going to be a lot of places that'll be tempting to dine at, but I only have so much time till the ferry goes back. What is this one called? Looks like some place to buy some witchy items. Salem's oldest witch shop. And probably my first of many souvenir shops I'll come across. This one's called Remember Salem. So I am holding off because there's still much ahead. Having a special craft fair, art fair here today on Essex Street. This is not here all the time, just a special occasion. We happen to be here. looks so cool. I mean, all the tents, I mean, you would think it was Halloween. But it's not. Okay, so Salem definitely seems to be the place where it's Halloween all year long. Very cool Halloween museum here. Apparently Salem is the birthplace of the National Guard. This seems to be like a closed off extension of that road back there. And here the art fair continues. Oh, check this out. So apparently there's a movie theater, Cinema Salem, and they play classic horror movies all October. So you can watch your favorite classics in a theater on the big screen all October long. Very cool. We have a witch and fairy emporium. People maybe that like to build fairy houses, maybe you could find things. Oh, look at the monsters. Aw, that's cute. Looks like I got a lot of TV characters in here. I see the honeymooners up there. The Beatas. Dorothy? Is that Dorothy in the... I think it looks like Dorothy. Evel Knievel. Very cool. Ooh. Concentrated bat blood. Very cool. Ha! Need me some bat blood. I mean, you know, Charlie Sheen had tiger blood. Why can't I have bat blood? Okay, this is fun. This is so fun. I feel like I'm in another land. I'm not sure what this building is, but that sign up there indicates that was built in 1858. It's pretty cool looking. So I think there's going to be a mixture of some old and some new. The Omen. Okay, I saw that movie. I'm not going in there. I'm not going in there. Haunted House Witch Mansion. She looks a little scary. Like it is June right now. It is early June. But you would think it was October. You would think it was the Halloween season. This way, my little pretties.
Thank you. Nice space you got.
Hello, my pretty.
Hello.
Morning. Your Grace.
Your gracefulness.
Would you like to say hello to my viewers?
Well, what is the name of your channel? Hello, viewers. Welcome to Salem, Massachusetts, the Witch City, where we are haunted all year long. Follow me on Salem's Black Hat Society on every social media outlet there is, and watch me this Tuesday at 8 p.m. June the 11th on America's Got Talent.
Really?
Yes!
Awesome!
Hey.
What, singing?
Bye.
Oh.
Put 'em back.
That's looking good on the Salem.
Oh, thanks, sexy. I need your handcuffs. They're so tired of hearing that.
I know, right?
Right, hello. Goodbye. Goodbye. What's the name of your channel?
Mary the Girly Girl.
Tag me.
I will. Thank you.
Oh.
Former U.S. Custom House. In 1805 it was built. Wow. Strange little store in a great little city. It's got all kinds of, you know, Halloween witchy. Ah! Ghost face! You need a ghost face stuck to your car. This is so cool. So we've come to the Witch History Museum, and I think we're going to go inside and take a look.
In the interest of time, I have uploaded my tour of the Witch History Museum as a separate video. Click the link in the video description or above to view it whenever you like.
This looks interesting. The wind is really picking up. This looks like it has a nice assortment of t-shirts in here, aside from the I Got Stoned in Salem. And I actually think I see one that I like.
Well, I had to kill my sound because they began playing Elvis Presley music. That's the shirt I selected right there. And whenever there's copyrighted music playing on your video, well, that's a problem. But I just wanted to say this was a great shop. The staff was super friendly, great assortment of t-shirts, and also on the other side, hoodies and sweatshirts. Definitely a place I would recommend.
It's like another old building here. Now it is the Hotel Salem. And right next to it, it looks like we have the Magic Parlor. That sounds tempting. Oh, and just in case you worried, there is an actual normal store here, and it is CVS. So, most of this is stores you would not see anywhere else, but there is a CVS. Psychic readings are available inside the Magic Parlor. Dum dum dum. I am loving the architecture. Here we have a nightmare gallery. But look at this old building, and the wind is picking up.
Honestly, this is one place I really wish I had had time to go inside. By the end of the day, I concluded that 5 hours in Salem is simply not enough. I'm definitely going to have to return so I can explore everything else.
Sammy! I love Sam from Trick or Treat. He's got his trademark. Oh, he kind of wiggles. Hey, Sammy! If you're looking for witchy merchandise, I can tell you this town is definitely it. Fortune teller. Go with salt and pepper. And this is June. I'm filming this in June. So, any time of year, this is the place to be. Sorry for that glare. Wednesday. So I reached the end of that little mall area. I'm now back on Washington Street, and right ahead of me is something I've really been looking forward to seeing. This wind, oh my god, y'all. I just give up. I'm just gonna look like a witch today. So I can see it's a popular spot, tons of people around it. I hope I get my shot at it. Essex Street is the place to be. All right, here we have one of the most popular attractions here in Salem, and it is the statue of Elizabeth Montgomery as Samantha in Bewitched. And it is a thing of beauty. It's so lifelike. Getting close on her face. Oh, it's gorgeous. Feels like it's bronze, maybe? Absolutely beautiful. The details in her skirt. Of course, she even has her ring on. And of course she is riding her broom. Samantha, what are you doing? Over the moon. So how fitting that they would have a statue commemorating the show Bewitched here in Salem and commemorating the late great Elizabeth Montgomery. In fact, it looks like there's a little star here. Oh, let's see, can you see that? Elizabeth Montgomery as Samantha Stevens, hair of gold, eyes that twinkle, a nose that neatly twitched, clever, charming, and enchanting. Samantha left us all bewitched. Aww. Presented by the people of TV Land. That's so sweet. I love it. What a loving tribute. Bewitched was one of my favorite shows. Probably was watching it in syndication, I think, but I did love it. I did love Samantha and all the hijinks that went on, trying to hide the fact from the real world that she was a witch. It was hilarious. And she, Elizabeth Montgomery, was absolutely perfect in that role. So well done, TV Land, by erecting this statue. Well done. Well, this sounds interesting. Step inside and see Salem's largest witch at Black Craft Cult. All right, I'll bite. That's a good start. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that probably is the biggest witch. Let's see. Under a really cool blue orb of a ceiling. Now this is what I think of when I think of Salem. Very cool. This is so cool. Edgar Allan Poe. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust just above my chamber door. So yeah, that must be Edgar Allan Poe with the raven. Never trust the living. Okay. This is so cool. Dog clothes.
Well, I had to mute my sound again since there was another song playing in the background. But I looked the store up online. Black Craft Cult is a global clothing and lifestyle brand. It has a mission to support and represent counterculture individuals who value kindness, gratitude, and positivity. The brand also aims to create a culture that encourages self-expression and self-empowerment, and to celebrate all aspects of life that promote personal freedom. I myself decided I couldn't leave without this little tribute to Edgar Allan Poe on a tank top.
I guess you could say the sign outside, inviting you to come in to see the biggest witch. It worked. It worked. I gotta tell you what, I've seen some people here, a lot of goth people, and I wish I could record them, but I don't know if, just recording people without their consent. But I mean, some of them, the makeup and everything, I mean, they look beautiful. Like they've really, you could tell they've done a lot of work. So it's like I want to film them, but I can't do that without people's permission. But yeah, they're all over. So it's an interesting place to people watch. So that's another little tidbit. So headed to the witch's house, which I guess is supposed to be the oldest house. I don't know, maybe I'll find out when I get there. Oldest house, or the oldest house owned by somebody that was believed to be a witch, something. We'll find out when we get there. I don't know. This is my first time. Well, we have arrived at the witch's house. Gonna cross the street and get here we go. So first of all, I've been saying it wrong. It's the witch house, not the witch's house. So we'll go over here and get a closer look. So here it is, it's the witch house, and according to this little brochure, it is Salem's only building with direct ties to the witch trials, the 17th century home of Judge Jonathan Corwin, which I heard was not a good dude. Not a good dude at all. So that would be it, the oldest remaining house with ties to the witch trials. So apparently the witch house is also a museum. I just noticed this little sign here that says this was built in 1642. Restored by Historic Salem in 1946. That's crazy! So I'm behind the witch's house now, and I actually decided to forego the tour because they don't allow you to take video inside. This is, I think, like the third place I've gone to since I've been here in Boston. I've been to the North Church where, you know, the lanterns were hung. Paul Revere, one if by land, two if by sea, no video. I've been to the Paul Revere house, no video. And now here, photos, yes, video, no. So I decided to skip it and continue on. So I hope you enjoyed at least seeing it from the outside. And besides, it was owned by a really bad guy, so I really don't kind of want to tour his old stinky house. Well, I was just walking down the street and I spotted this beautiful old church. I don't really know the historical significance of it, but I just thought it was gorgeous and wanted to share it. Well, here's another angle of it. Wesley United Methodist Church. Love the green steeple. This is such a cool town. There's another attraction ahead, Witch's Dungeon. I might have to go see what that's all about. Well, it turns out that's another place that does not allow video. So they said what they do is a reenactment of a witch trial, and then downstairs there's like a recreation of the dungeons. Well, I've seen enough recreations of dungeons, I guess, in my lifetime. So yeah, so that's too bad. So I'm gonna just keep moving on, see what I see. It's almost time to start heading back to the ferry, so I'll just see what I see along the walk back to the waterfront. But this has been so cool. I think I might have to come back here when I have more time. Just walking down the street here, Washington, I guess, and there I found the old City Hall. It's not bad looking at all. So I've come across an area called Artists Row. It seems to be just an area where local artists can sell their crafts. Don't know if this is here all the time or if it's a special thing like the market that we saw. But all different kinds of artists selling their art. Public artists in residence. So, lots of art all over this town. Very cool. There it says the Heart of Salem honors all. It's definitely caught my eye. Feels very mystical and magical. Love it. So now I am on Derby Street. This Artist Row is here on Derby Street. And this looks a little bit more modern. We have some modern buildings. We have another drugstore, Walgreens. So, you know, definitely getting into the more modern side of the town here. So there's a little of both. Love these things over here. That's very cool. Another one over there. That's very, very different. I love it. I just noticed this memorial here in front of the fire station in memory of those firefighters who made the supreme sacrifice. It has a firefighter's prayer.
I'm about to take a stroll through the Charter Street Cemetery. It is the oldest maintained cemetery in Salem and among the oldest in the United States. Opened in 1637, it's the final resting place of several Salem notables, including Judge John Haythorne, one of the leading witchcraft trial judges. As I walk through the cemetery, I'm going to begin to tell you the story of the Salem Witch Trials. And I gotta admit, it's not something I ever really researched or delved into, so I did learn a lot about it on my trip to Salem. This is definitely going to be the more somber part of this video. So the Salem Witch Trials occurred in colonial Massachusetts for a period of 13 months between early 1692 and mid-1693. More than 200 people were accused of practicing witchcraft, known as the devil's magic. 30 people were found guilty, 19 of whom were executed by hanging, 14 women and 5 men. One other man, Giles Corey, died under torture after refusing to enter a plea. In the medieval and early modern eras, many religions, including Christianity, taught that the devil could give people known as witches the power to harm others in return for their loyalty. A witchcraft craze rippled through Europe from the 1300s to the end of the 1600s. Tens of thousands of supposed witches, mostly women, were executed. It was widely believed that women were more susceptible to temptation from the devil. The Salem trials took place just as the European craze was winding down. Controversy was brewing over Reverend Samuel Parris, who became Salem's first ordained minister in 1689, and who quickly gained a reputation for his rigid ways and greedy nature. In January 1692, Parris's daughter Elizabeth, age 9, and niece Abigail, age 11, started having fits. They screamed and threw things and uttered peculiar sounds and contorted themselves into strange positions. A local doctor decided, they must be witches. Another girl, 12-year-old Anne Putnam Jr., experienced similar episodes. It was later estimated that the accusers actually suffered from something called ergotism, a condition caused by eating foods that are contaminated with the fungus ergot. Those symptoms include muscle spasms, vomiting, delusions, and hallucinations. On February 29th, under pressure from magistrates Jonathan Corwin, that owner of that witch house, and John Haythorne, buried in this very cemetery, the girls blamed 3 women for afflicting them. Tituba, a Caribbean woman enslaved by the Parris family, Sarah Good, a homeless beggar, and Sarah Osborne, an elderly, impoverished woman. All 3 women were brought before the local magistrates and interrogated for several days, starting on March 1st, 1692. Osborne claimed innocence, as did Good, but Tituba confessed. You see, if you admitted you were a witch, you wouldn't be killed. You would just be put in jail. But if you denied being a witch, you would be hanged. On May 27, 1692, Governor William Phips ordered the establishment of a special court of oyer and terminer for Suffolk, Essex, and Middlesex counties. The first accused witch brought in front of the special court was Bridget Bishop, an older woman known for her gossipy habits and promiscuity. When asked if she had committed witchcraft, she responded, "I am as innocent as the child unborn." The defense must not have been convincing because she was found guilty, and on June 10th, Bridget became the first person hanged on what was later called Gallows Hill. Just a few days after the court was established, respected minister Cotton Mather wrote a letter imploring the court not to allow spectral evidence, being testimony about dreams and visions. The court largely ignored this request, sentencing the hangings of 5 people in July, 5 more in August, and 8 in September. On October 3rd, following in his son Cotton's footsteps, Increase Mather, then president of Harvard, denounced the use of spectral evidence. Phips, in response to these pleas and his own wife's questioning as a suspected witch, prohibited further arrests and released many accused witches. He dissolved the court of oyer and terminer on October 29th. By May 1693, Phips had pardoned all those imprisoned on witchcraft charges. But the damage was already done. 19 men and women had been hanged on Gallows Hill. Giles Corey, Martha's 71-year-old husband, was pressed to death in September 1692. At least 5 more of the accused died in jail.
Now the victims of the witch trials, they're actually not buried here. I overheard a tour guide saying, and I confirmed with the guy at the gate, they're just scattered all over, and many of them weren't even from Salem. So But at the entrance to the cemetery, there is a witches' memorial that commemorates the victims of the witch trials. So we're gonna go take a look at that next. Apparently, one of the other tour guides said if you admitted you were a witch, you know, even if you weren't, if you were afraid of prosecution and you said, yes, I'm a witch, you got me, they wouldn't kill you. They would just put you in jail. But if you denied being a witch, you would be hanged. She also said that, you know, we have this image of witches being burned at the stake, but that wasn't in Salem. That was elsewhere. In Salem, they were hanged. And it went on for a period of 13 months, the Salem Witch Trials. 13 months. Crazy. This is the memorial for the victims of the Salem Witch Trials. There's a bench for each victim, and there's some inscriptions, and apparently this was only built in 1992, so I overheard a tour guide say. So it's not very old at all. So it starts with these little tablets, these inscriptions on the pavement that contain a quote that, you know, one of the victims might have said, or my life lies now in your hands. Sorry. If I would confess, I should save my life. So that's one. This is so sad. O Lord, hear me. I am wholly innocent of such wickedness. Wait a second. O Lord, hear me. God knows I am innocent. I am wholly innocent of such wickedness. I guess they're individual ones. I do plead not guilty. And this one says, I can deny it to my dying. I don't know, it just sort of stops there.
I later learned these phrases cut off in mid-sentence represent their lives cut short.
This is the Witch Memorial. And all around this park here, you can see there's a little bench, and each bench represents a victim of the witch trials. It shows their name, the date they died, and how they died. So, let's do this. The first one was Bridget Bishop. She was hanged June 10th, 1692. Rest in peace, Bridget Bishop. This one, it looks like they all have flowers on them too. Sarah Good, also hanged July 19th, 1692. Rest in peace, Sarah Good. Then we have Elizabeth Howe, also hanged July 19th, 1692. Rest in peace, Elizabeth Howe. Even though they're not buried here, these ladies are, these so-called witches are buried scattered around, scattered all over the place. Many of them weren't even from Salem. Susanna Martin hanged also July 19th, 1692. Seems like there was several hangings on that date. Rest in peace, Savannah Martin. Rebecca Nurse hanged July 19th, 1692. Once again, rest in peace, Rebecca Nurse. Sarah Wildes, hanged July 19th, 1692. Rest in peace, Sarah. This one doesn't have a flower. This is a man, George Burroughs, hanged. Now this one was August 19th, 1692. Rest in peace, George Burroughs. Martha Carter, I think, hanged August 19th, 1692. It's either Carter or Carrier. Yeah, I think it's Carrier. Rest in peace, Martha Carrier. George Jacobs, hanged August 19th, 1692. Rest in peace, George Jacobs. John Proctor, hanged August 19th, 1692. Rest in peace, John Proctor. There's more. I never really paid attention to this whole Salem witch thing. I don't know, it was so long ago. I don't know. I just never really studied it. Really found out what it was all about. And being here and seeing this is incredibly somber. And learning what I learned at the museum, the Witch Museum, I kind of speechless. Boy, the things that we've done in our country. Yeah, I don't really have the words right now. I'm going to continue on the memorial. John Willard, hanged August 19th, 1692. Rest in peace, John Willard. Giles Corey, pressed to death. September 19th, 1692. Oh, how horrible. Martha Corey, hanged September 22nd, 1692. Rest in peace, Martha Corey. Mary Easty, hanged. Hard to read that one. Looks like September 22nd, 1692 as well. Rest in peace, Mary Easty. Alice Parker, hanged September 22nd, 1692. Rest in peace, Alice Parker. Mary Parker, hanged September 22nd, 1692. Rest in peace, Mary Parker. Oh gosh, and Pudiator, I hope I said that right, hanged September 22nd, 1692. Rest in peace, Anne.
They lay him down and they keep putting rocks on him until they get support.
I just overheard a man say that the one that was pressed, that means they lay you down and put rocks on you until you die, until you're squished and you die. Wilmot Red, hanged September 22nd, 1692. Rest in peace. Margaret Scott, hanged September 22nd, 1692. Rest in peace, Margaret. And finally, Samuel Wardwell, hanged September 22nd, 1692. Rest in peace, Samuel Wardwell. So this is it. The Salem Witch Trials Memorial. In this little park area right next to the cemetery. The old cemetery. That was a fun day trip. I almost do wish I had more time. There was still more to see. I think you probably could, spend a night here, do a 2-day, weekend kind of thing. But anyway, it's time to head back to the ferry, get back on the ferry back to Boston, and get ready for the evening's festivities. Thank goodness there's actually, looks like a saloon here, so I can get something to wet my whistle before it's time to get on the boat. After all that walking, it feels a little bit like a oasis in the desert. Amen. Well, that's going to just about do it for this little day trip to Salem. I did go ahead and get a tasty beverage from the bar over there. It has rum and coconut rum and amaretto and orange juice and pineapple juice and grenadine. So this ought to be very refreshing after walking those streets. I've been walking nonstop since I got here. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please send help for this windblown hair between the wind in Salem and the wind on the ferry. It's, yeah, I need help. So thanks for watching, and cheers. Oh, wow. That's excellent. Take care. Till next time. Bye.